Ladies and gentlemen, now today's video is more aimed toward the newer and progressing players in 7 Deadly Sins. If you're a sweaty endgame tryhard, you know absolutely everything. Again, a good chunk of this video you may already be familiar with. But one of the questions I get so often on the channel is, Seatin, I'm stuck around 150,000, 170,000 combat class, and I just don't know what I should be focusing on or where to go to get more power in this game. So I wanted to do a thorough breakdown of kind of the 9 big ways to increase and gain more combat class and power. So starting with the basics, we've got getting your characters to level 80. So as you progress through the story, you unlock 3 different demons, the red, the grey, and also the crimson demon, and defeating these demons with a partner allows you to get more materials to level up your characters. But also via various events that come on a weekly basis, there's also like exchange shop for demon materials. So these are kind of the 2 core ways to get more materials to level up characters. But alongside demon materials, you also need SSR pendants as well. And I would say the source of gain for about 50% of these is probably the Fort Solgras pendant dungeon. So you want to make sure you get on top of farming that as soon as you possibly can. You never want to waste any keys, so make sure you do on a daily basis there. But you've also got the knighthood boss, various pendants in the story as well, and also via the weekly events and like various logging calendars, there's even more access to SSR pendants. So again, fairly simple when it comes to getting your characters up to level 80 there, but does take a little bit of work if you are a newer player. Then we also have 6-star awakening characters, so this is really easy once you know like where to go and what to do. So you've just got to farm awakening materials and chalices from world stages and events, and again you can just go through the game's interface to find like any missing materials. So for example, again, if I have a 4-star Hellbrum and I want to get him 5-star, then I'm missing like maybe this material on the 6-star magical robe. I can find the location of like where I can farm this material. So if you're missing like absolutely anything, be sure to use the game's interface to like find it. But again, there's lots of different materials and lots of different stages to farm, and initially as a new player it might seem a little bit overwhelming, but there's also like additional events that give like awakening material boxes. So like everything actually stacks up really quickly. So yeah, it's not too bad to deal with, man. Again, a little bit overwhelming as a new player, but does become easier the more you play. Then next up, we got Super Awakening. And if you're a newer player, again, this is going to take a little while to come around to, but just something to keep in mind as well. So once you got a character 6-star Awaken, the Super Awakening tab appears. And here you can use your coins as experience to funnel into the characters to gain even more stats. So you've got this resource called Super Awakening Coins, which give 75 XP. Your regular plat coins give 225 there, so they're really good. The gold coins give 15 each. And also the silver coins only give 1 experience. You never ever want to use silver coins on Super Awakening. They are so valuable for generating gold that it's a really bad idea to use silver coins. So the general rule for Super Awakening is this is the best use for gold coins in the entire game, and if you can use Super Awakening coins from the endgame events, the knighthood boss, and also Tower of Trials as well, again, that's absolutely amazing. But try not to use platinum coins unless you're desperate and you need more power immediately, and again, never use silver coins there, because ideally you want to save your plat coins. There's a lot of good characters in the platinum coin shop, and again, a lot of good uses for platinum coins generally speaking. So if you can avoid using them, try to, but I understand that again, we all get to that point where, you know, you've got a new character, you're super excited to play them, probably the 1 Escanor for a lot of players in a couple of weeks, and you may not have like enough gold coins or Super Awakening coins to fully Super Awaken that character. So it's not bad use of plat coins, it's just better if you can avoid using them on Super Awakening in order to like maximize your roster. But yeah, you need to like weigh it up for yourself and think about like what you need in the platinum coin shop and whether or not it's actually going to be worth it for you there. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. And then we have gear, and gear is quite a layered one. So initially you need to get good gear with base rolls, ideally 95% plus from world stages, patrol, and also equipment draw. So what do I mean by that? So let's go to the world stages now and just have a little bit of a look, a bit of a general overview. What you need to be aware of, if you're looking to farm gear, Chapter 1 is where you farm attack gear, Chapter 2 is defense pieces, and Chapter 3 is health pieces. And for a lot of players in gear sets and characters, these are kind of the main 3 that you need to farm there. So yeah, just do keep that in mind for the most part. And again, if we flick over to Chapter 1 here and have a little bit of a look around, so you can see on various stages, there's the rune there, there's the belt there, there's the necklace, the bracelet, the ring, and also earrings. So you can sequentially farm these stages in batches of 8 to get like a guaranteed SSR piece there. And you want to make sure, because every single piece that you get on its base has like a variance depending on the piece of equipment. So for example, this life necklace here could either be, if you get an SSR piece, 195 on the base or 260. Now the really annoying thing in this game is you need to invest so much to like fully max out a piece of equipment and get it absolutely perfect for a character. So if you want maximum combat class and gear that's really going to stand the test of time, you want to make sure it's got a very good base roll before upgrading it, because it's very easy to just loop around, especially during half stamina farming, which is every other week, and just farm loads of SSR gear. But you want to make sure the gear that you're investing in is really good at the base, and you can actually reroll base stats with anvils. However, this can be very, very expensive when it comes to the health pieces, because they have so much variance on them that a lot of the time, you know, it's going to cost you like 1,000 anvils to reroll, because there's so much variance between like 3,900 and 5,200. So for like belts and runes, again, it can take a lot of farming in order to get that really, really good piece. But especially if you're free to play, you don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds of anvils actually re-rolling the base equipment, because anvils are much harder to you know, farm lots of in comparison to farming lots of the base equipment. So yeah, my advice as somebody that has built out many gear sets and also re-rolled a lot of base gear as well, is ideally 95% gear stats is what you're looking for on the base before you even think about upgrading. So yeah, just something to keep in mind there. Again, if you're a little bit less caring, you can go for 90+%, maybe 85+%. Just make sure that the gear that you are looking at does have a very good base roll. And again, on change stats, you can see the base roll of a gear and like how much it's filled up by proportion to the minimum and also maximum there. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. So upgrading gear using 5-star awakening stones that you get from events, salvaging, and also equipment draw. So this is kind of the big thing. The resources you need are the 5-star awakening stones, and if you +5 any SSR equipment before salvaging, then this actually gives you a greater amount of 4-star and also 5-star awakening stones. That's a really good way to gain those, but also yeah, via the equipment draw, various events that do pop up, but mainly again it's farming a lot of gear and farming a lot of gold, and like breaking gear down via the equipment draw are some of the best ways to get more 5-star awakening stones there. And then once you've upgraded the gear, got it fully 5-star maxed out, is then re-rolling the gear with anvils, and these are available via the knighthood boss, various events, the new anvil dungeon in Fort Solgris, which is a really good time, also elite PvP. Elite PvP is like very inaccessible now for kind of newer and progressing players, so that one maybe not so much, I would say. And also via the equipment draw is a pretty good way to gain anvils, but also then once you got the really good rolls, you want to perfect the gear rolls with hammers, and these can be found in training cave, the events, equipment draw as well. And really the best way to farm hammers for free to play is just making sure you're on top of your Fort Solgris half stamina gold farming like every other weekend, getting like hundreds of millions of gold, and when that rate up does come on equipment draw, again summoning loads on that, rinsing all your gold through that, and yeah, you can gain so many hammers via there. And again, just to circle back to talk about anvils and hammers, so anvils allow you to re-roll the stats on any piece of gear. So for example, you can re-roll lifesteal into health here, but again it's completely random when it does come to exactly what you're going to get out of them. However, hammers are very, very valuable because they give you a guaranteed increase on that substat that you've rolled. So, for example, if I use a hammer on this, it would increase the health to at least 2.8%, but also give me a chance to have super success and give me that perfect 3% roll. So, anvils are used for getting the stats you want at a fairly, like, high area, and then hammers are used for, like, finishing off that gear and making it absolutely perfect. And the general rule when it comes to hammers is you only want to use it on a roll that is at least like 2.4 in terms of health and attack, and really like health and attack are the only stats that you want to increase and roll there. So yeah, just something to keep in mind when it does come to hammers. And then finally we've got UR engraving gear. So via the training cave and events you gain UR stones, and again training cave is something very, very important to get on top of and stay doing every 5 days playing the game, because it's a really good source for UR gear. It's kind of your main free-to-play source of UR gear, but also a really good source of hammers as well, because you get guaranteed 10 every single time you run it. So that's 2 more rolls that you can kind of enhance on like a top-level gear set there, which again is very, very nice. So yeah, once you've done a little bit of the training cave, you can speak to Merlin in the tavern, and you select a character, for example Meliodas, and also a piece of equipment, and then you can engrave it to that character, and it will give that piece of equipment like 400 bonus attack while Meliodas is wearing it. So yeah, this also scales up as well with the bonuses that you get on the gear's substats. So yeah, UR gear is such a significant improvement to characters, man. It really just adds so much additional to them. And if you are free to play, you really want to focus on the corners of a lot of characters. The defense pieces are kind of a last priority for every single character on your main team, but it's really about, you know, getting the UR pieces on your belt, and also rune for maximum CC, and very often the bracelet and ring as well for kind of maximum attack and combat class there. So yeah, the corners are the best to focus on, but yeah, the belt is the biggest when it comes to getting additional combat class. Next up, we've got cosmetics. So cosmetics in this game not only are visual changes, but also give you more stats as well. So I'm going to move my camera to the right hand corner for this, because we need to go into the cosmetics page. So if you go to closet here, you'll be able to see that in every single slot you can register up to 5 cosmetic pieces, and this gives you a bit of a tally of all the bonuses that you're getting from them. So yeah, you need 5 cosmetics in every single slot, and this is definitely like very annoying when you get a brand new character, because the main way of getting cosmetics is just like buying them for gems in the store. So for new characters, not only do you need to summon on the banner and also get that character, but then you also need to think about, you know, if you want to be competitive in PvP, like buying all the cosmetics for that character, because they're a really, really substantial increase. Again, looking at the UR pieces here, man, again, everyone's given about 1,650 health there, fully maxed out and upgraded, with additional substats on top of that, such as lifesteal. Again, weapons give you additional crit chance, crit damage, pierce ray, all of this good stuff here, and massive attack bonuses as well. So the difference that cosmetics makes is actually really, really substantial. So you need to bear in mind that for your characters, you want them fully decked out, and also cosmetic upgrades as well are a thing, a very annoying thing, because you do need cosmetic enhancement materials, and these are a bit of a pain to come by unless you're spending lots and lots of money on the game. So you farm cosmetic materials via various events that do come on a weekly basis. Usually there's a pretty good stack of them in most events, going up to 30, but aside from that, it's really just doing hell demons, and there are certain characters such as the Valentine's units that do have certain costumes, and you can use them on the sub for guaranteed materials. But again, if you're free to play, Global has been going so incredibly fast that you probably don't have access to that, but also via Brawl PvP, every time the shop resets and you hit the maximum, you can gain some more cosmetic enhancement materials. But cosmetic enhancement materials, yeah, they take a while to come by unless you're spending a lot of money on this game at the moment. So just something to keep in mind there, or like farming hell demons like crazy as well, and that is definitely enough to drive most people absolutely insane. Now, next up, we've got ultimate levels as well, so it's getting all your characters 6/6, and again, again, this is something that is very whaley when it comes to the top tier characters, especially if they're like festival characters like Lostvayne Meliodas, Liz, or the One Escanor, because they got that 0.25% rate. But every single additional ult level is 400 more combat class there. So across the team, you know, a team of like 1/6 characters on the front line versus 6/6 characters. The 6/6 characters are going to have a lot more combat class overall. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but just something to keep in mind as well. And also, if you are going to run some various characters from the Platinum Coin Shop, this is a very good reason as to why you want to save your Platinum Coins for duplicates of those characters in comparison to spreading them out, trying to super awaken too many characters. So just do keep that in mind as well. And then we've got associations. So associations is something that's really big in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. So associations for your main character can be up to almost 20% additional stats. So they kind of like function in 2 different ways, and we'll go back to the PvP menu just to explain and show this. So the thing is, association, you have like a base bonus of stats, and for any 1/6 character, it starts off at just like a 5% additional bonus. So I think if I scroll down here, I might have Frowdron here, so you can see he's a 1/6 character, increases the associated hero's basic stats by 5%, but Ladociel, or any character that you have 6/6 on the ult level, is going to give you a 10% bonus to all of that character's basic stats. But also on top of that, you get approximately 10% of the character who's the association stats on your main character as well. So you get a 10% flat bonus, and then 10% of the associated character's base stats. So what does that mean? That means, one, it's really important any character you use as an association needs to have 6/6 ult level, and also 2, you want to make sure you have all the power you can on your association characters as well, because 10% of their base stats is going to be converted into stats for the character they're associated to. So here we can see Ladociel, man, if I open up his gear set and cosmetics, like, he's fully maxed out, he's got everything perfect, really good health set, so he's transferring approximately 10% of his stats onto Lostvayne, and he's got all the cosmetics and everything. Again, cosmetics are much more important to focus on your main team, but also something to maybe consider on your associations as well, if you do want to be very sweaty and very try-hard there. So overall, if we remove Ladociel, like, let's have a look at the difference to Lostvayne's stats. Again, you can see he's got about 193,000 at the moment, and this drops down if we remove him to below 170,000 there. So again, the bonus from having Ladociel, man, is like almost 30,000 additional hit points and a massive chunk of attack as well. So yeah, having your associations like fully decked out, fully super awakened, fully upgraded, having great equipment on, ideally having cosmetics as well, basically all of the stuff that you have on your main characters, man, is just a huge additional advantage, but something that does take a little bit of time to build up to. So yeah, getting fully decked out associations can be a little bit overwhelming, but it's something to keep in mind and also work toward in the future. But also on top of that, we got something very important, which is increasing your account combat class. So roughly for every 1 million combat class that you get up to 4 million, for every 1 million, it's 3% more health to all of your characters. So this is 12% at 4 million box CC, and this is an absolutely huge bonus, because health is kind of the biggest increase overall to your combat class, and if you're getting 12% on every single character, that's like almost an extra health piece on every single character, man. It's so incredibly valuable. So the way that you do this is just try to collect as many characters as you possibly can. You also want to try and level 60 and 6-star every single character. Again, it's only 3 SSR pendants to initially convert an SSR character to UR and get them up to level 60 there, and getting every character to 6-star. Again, as a newer player, this sounds like very overwhelming, but with time and also auto farming various stages, it actually becomes a lot more manageable to do. So yeah, this is something to gradually work toward as you're progressing throughout the game. So yeah, this does take a little bit of time to work toward, but also while you're farming gear, you want to be equipping 4 health pieces and 2 defense pieces pieces on every single character in your box. And maybe if you're struggling to manage your gear as well, you can only equip 5 pieces on certain characters, maybe like 4 health and 1 defense there. But the important thing is you're filling those bottom slots on every single character and getting that 20% 4 set health bonus, because again, that's going to give you massive combat class on every single character and really contribute to your box CC going up and you getting an even stronger health buff there as well. But one thing that's very hectic unless you have a lot of UR gear sets is actually managing your gear and like changing it from character to character. So one thing you might want to do is filter by like 6 gear sets and only use 6 slots on your main gear sets and characters, and for like the dummy gear sets only put 5 pieces of gear on, so it just makes it a little bit easier to filter through. But again, once you've got loads of UR sets like me, because I'm a massive blubbery whale, you don't need to worry about this as much in comparison. But again, as a new player, you might want to consider only going for 5 sets in comparison to 6 or 5 pieces, because it does make it a little bit easier to filter through. And then finally, we got food. So pretty much every single food in the game that gives you more stats is going to give you more combat class as well. But if you need more combat class to go first, again, you want to be using combat class food. And it's base 10%. However, there is a title, Indomitable Spirit, that gives you a 2% bonus on top of that. And the objectives are like fairly easy for the most part. They're just like lose a lot of matches across the game, which I'm sure like most of you are probably quite capable of doing. So if you want to find your titles in the game, you just need to go to the general menu, player info, and then if you have a look under titles here, you can see all the titles in the game and also the criteria for getting them as well. And you want to look for this one, the 2% combat class food one, and it really is like losing in boss battle 10 times, losing in free stages 10 times, and just like some really easy stuff. Losing lots in PvP as well. So again, even if you're not too stuck into PvP, if you lose some matches, you can get additional combat class via combat class food there as well. And again, when it comes to super sweaty PvP, at least at the moment and for the foreseeable future, combat class food is the best food to use for the majority of setups, just because going first is like very important. So just as a final recap, going through everything, it's getting your characters to level 80, 6-star awakening, 4-star super awakening, getting your gear sorted, and that is a really big point. Again, most of the gains in this game are to be made via kind of getting good gear, upgrading it, getting perfect rolls, sorting out UR gear there, cosmetics, sorting out 5 in every single slot, getting your ult level up as well if you're a massive Megalodon, getting your associations sorted, getting your box combat class sorted so you can gain those massive additional health boosts there, and also using appropriate food as well. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this video guide was useful, and if it was, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.